have been assigned to talk about institutional reform, social sector and inequality. Since Dr. Joyce has already given a flavor of social sector, I will not go into inside social sector. I will rather talk about institutional reforms and inequality. To me, this budget is very unique and it is a critical juncture in the history of India, because for the first time in the history of India that exclusively we have given emphasis on institutional reforms, and that institutional reforms is a key to the journey of Viksit Bharat in 2047. And it has basically two critical pillars. One is deregulation, which is talking about the reformation of the formal institutions. That we know that there is a lot of bureaucratic barriers in the development process, and the ease of doing business is not good in India. The score is very low, and to remove that regulatory barriers and to simplify the existing structures, the government of India for the first time focused on deregulation. And second is pillar is trust and societal values. We have to change the mindset towards risk taking and innovation and overcome the low trust exists among people, between people and governance, between governance and business community. Let me give the example of industrial revolution. Why up to 18th century there is no invention, it was all about hunting and gathering, but all of a sudden we see lots of invention came to Western country. TV, refrigerator, electricity, electric bulb, textile machines, all of a sudden. Just imagine that situation, because from feudal set they tried to live, put a very flexible society. People like Thomas Edison who have been failed more than 25 times to get a patent for its electric bulb during King's period. When America provided the patent, all of a sudden he has more than thousands of patents. So that led to the development. But think about India, we are still going through that process. We have lots of clumsy mindset, and especially the network of institutions does not allow for innovation and technological development. And because that innovation is the key to development, as it took place in the West in terms of industrial revolutions, we need to change this low trust factor and you have to convert into a high trust factor. And without trust, there is enough evidence in the economic literature and in development economics that trust has a direct link to economic development. A society of high trust leads to high development, and society with low trust leads to low development, because trust will promote the investors and the innovators to invest. If people will lose trust from the governance, if in business community will lose trust from the governance, they will not intend to come and invest in your country. And that's why many economists recently in the World Economic Forum, they told that, see, even the geopolitical issues you are talking about, take the example of India and Pakistan. Let some investor of Pakistan invest in India and some other invest in India. You will see that even the war will not happen, because trust will automatically take place. Then second is inequality. This is very important for India at this point, because West is now focusing on AI driven industries. But we need to think it carefully that if we are allowing AI industries to operate in every sectors of India, that will widen socio-economic inequality in India. This is one aspect you need to think critically, because AI basically takes the low skill jobs that can be fully automated. The high skill people, the savvy people, they will be not affected by the AI driven industry, because their job will be there. But think about market like India, where more than 70% of the people are working in informal sector, and they are basically low to medium skill jobs. So if AI comes, the entire chunk of that particular job who are coming to low skill and medium skill, the entire job will be taken by AI. So in that case, the gap between the high paid income and the low paid job will increase. This is the instance in 90s when the developed countries started paying their CEO a high rate, salary compared to the low skill worker, because they were technologically sound. And that leads 100 times increase in the gap between low to high income gaps. And if AI takes place in India, that will have dangerous impact, very detrimental impact on the existing socio-economic disparities. What could be the solution is that we must carefully weigh the cost and benefits of AI, not complete adaptation, and the lots of youth, they need to reskill and upskill about their skills about how to use AI. And in that perspective, the government's decision to open the Center for Excellence for AI, which is the government has already given 500 crores, that is a welcoming step. But you need to there is lot need to be done in this perspective. Given these two broad thought about this, I will not talk about the social sector. Already Didi has covered, but let me tell you that this education as a percentage of GDP, the public expenditure on education as a percentage of GDP, you can see that it almost remains the same over the period of time. Of course, this 2025 budget estimate is not added because all state and union expenditure will be added. It is almost, see the total is the line over, it is almost 4 to 3.9%. It varies like that. There is not drastic changes in the expenditure on education. Similarly, you see healthcare. One thing happened is that the out-of-pocket expenditure for health has reduced from 64.2% to 39.4% over this period of time, and at the same time, government expenditure or public expenditure on health has increased from 28% to 48.0%, which is a very good sign for achieving a healthy economy and a Viksit Bharat in 2047 if this trend continues. And look at the GDP, percentage of GDP health expenditure. This remains almost 1.5 to 1.84, but there is a steady rise over the period of time. But this expenditure is not enough at this point of time. Education and health should be given more emphasis. And if you look at the social sector in its aggregate, you can see these figures are allocation represented as a share of India's budget. See, in case of health, it has increased from 1.87 to 1.94, but it was earlier in financial year 19, it was 2.35. So you can see that there is a steady decline as a percentage of budget, not as a percentage of GDP. And similarly, in rural development, this has increased compared to the previous year. And in case of higher education, it is almost remain same, 0.99% of the total budget. And school education, there is a steady rise, and social welfare, there is a substantial rise in social welfare. So what I conclude from this budget is that achieving Viksit Bharat in 2047 requires synergy between formal and informal institutions. Basically, we are talking about the deregulations, the removing the extra barriers, and at the same time, we need to create a high trust factor in the society so that business people will come and invest in your country. That is the best way to achieve Viksit Bharat. And then AI is a double-edged sword. Careful integration is key to minimize inequality. I have already tell you that, see, the Western model and India model is quite different. We cannot adopt their model because they have already developed and they have a aging population. So they have less population and highly skilled. AI can utilize there because there is not enough workforce. But what about India, which is a labor abundant country? You have lots of people and we cannot completely adopt AI. That will be detrimental for the economy. Simply, India's social sector is key to Viksit Bharat in 2047, but we need to focus on higher education, skill development and preventive health. And the way forward, I will suggest that this excessive compliance requirement due to low trust factor that should be addressed at the initial stage. Education and reskilling programs, let the youth be reskilled in learning of AI technologies. And what I found from the data is that though we are seeing some substantial increase in the social sector, but certain aspect of social sector, like if you are talking about education, lots of schools, they do not have computer, they do not have internet, they do not have toilets and medical checkup. But these are in aggregate are very contributing factors to the
development of human development and economy. But you can see that there is a number of schools, there is a number of teachers, but if this allied infrastructure is not there, that will also mean that will lead to less development. And similarly, in health institutions, we need to increase the number of beds, doctors, and drone. At this basically northeast regions, which are high hills, we can easily reach medicines and other facilities. And in this way, we can achieve Viksit Bharat by 2047. Yes. So with this, I conclude. I hope I finish within time.
Yes. No, thank you.